Great morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on our newest episode of the podcast. Ricardo, thanks so much for joining me, man.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I was looking forward to it this morning for sure.
Absolutely. I pushed for this one because I really feel like I needed this, and I already know that some of our audience, I know this because I get messages from our audience, especially the younger millennials, who say, "Hey, Seth, keep doing what you're doing with the podcast. Like, it's gold."
Yeah.
So,
cool.
we're making a difference, man.
That's awesome. That's the whole purpose of this thing for sure.
Absolutely. Well, hey, look, today we talked a little bit off camera. I want to talk to you about small wins. I think so many of us get caught up on the big stuff, right? So for me, for example, I'm guilty of this all the time. Like, hey, Seth, this is where you're at now. If you don't make X amount of money by tomorrow, you're a loser. Or, hey, Seth, this is where you're at physically now.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I want you to be the big, bulky guy that you were before.
Right.
And I think we get caught up on that. And then guess what? When it doesn't happen, we beat ourselves up.
Right.
Right? Oh, well, hey, Seth, you're a loser. You didn't get there. Oh, hey, you didn't meet your goal that you wanted.
Yeah.
And you told me the other day something about small wins. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. I think obviously on the conversation, I was trying to figure out a simple way to explain to you, obviously, that a lot of the times when we're not having the progress or the success that we want, we really become really hard on ourselves, especially if we're driven by whatever we're doing and we don't accomplish it. We actually hold ourselves from the growth after that because we become emotionally, in a sense, attached to the outcome, where instead of helping us, it actually moves us back.
Pushes back, yeah.
Exactly. It pushes us back. So I was sharing with you that small wins over a course of a period of time, it's going to help you build that momentum that you're looking for. And, if I can explain it in a very simple way, is whenever I talk to my agents here in the office that I'm currently training and coaching, is that obviously we all want stuff to happen overnight, right? Yeah. We all want our business to be rolling immediately, right? We go out and we put in work and we want to see the results quickly. Yeah. And if the results are not there, we're easily tending to give up and look for other avenues and other things to do. So to elaborate that is what I was meaning is it's the small wins that we collect on a daily basis that is going to allow us to really start seeing the progress that we're going to be able to build off of the continuous day-to-day activity to build up on those daily wins that we get until we start seeing the bigger wins happen over a course of a period of time.
I can tell you, because I can speak on it on my own experience, because you just told me this a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I was in a rut, and I still am, and I'm working my way out. I know I'm going to get out. But when you told me that, I think I told you off camera, is I'm saying it out loud all the time now. Yeah. Small win, Seth.
Yeah.
I'll get on a phone call with a client. Hey, small win.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Yeah.
I'll make a small sale, even if no matter what the price of that sale is.
Right.
Hey, it's small win.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it's made my mood better.
Yes.
Right. And naturally, when my mood's getting better, I'm now doing bigger sales. I'm doing bigger things. I'm doing, I'm more empowered you know what I mean? Like when you feel bad,
right,
you can't expect good things to happen.
Of course not, because you have bad energy. You don't have good, good spirit. You don't attract obviously the right people into your life,
right,
the right customers into your life because you're frustrated.
Yes.
Because you're unhappy with yourself.
Yes.
Because you're basically putting yourself down where now you're not being you yourself. And obviously the people around you, somehow
they're going to feel it.
They're going to feel it, man.
Yeah.
So, going back obviously to the little wins is it's an example of the commitment to what we do, as long as we see the little things that are happening as a product of what you're doing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's obviously understanding that everything is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but as long as you're building off of little wins, and yes, you're going to have things that are going to happen in between the process that are going to be, things that are going to push you back. But as long as you focus on the little wins that are going to be continuing to move you forward on a day-to-day basis, it's really what empowers you to believe in yourself and believe on what you're doing, and knowing that eventually everything is just it's going to tie in. Everything is going to unfold and everything is just going to tie into what you were trying to accomplish from that process.
So walk me through this, because right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of like tunnel visioned, right? So I have a big goal, but after our conversation, I'm not really looking up anymore. I'm kind of looking down and just taking each win one by one.
Right.
So that I'm hoping that eventually when I look up, I'm at my big goal already, or like I'm closer than I was before.
Right.
Is that sort of the concept? Or?
Yes, and I've experienced it in my life, in my personal life. It's I've heard this story which is basically, and I think I shared with you, it's like when you're driving on a car, right? At night. Okay. What does a light gives you?
20 feet, 40
20 feet forward, right?
Yeah.
So you're driving, you're seeing 20 feet forward. You can't see what's past 20 feet, right?
Okay.
But you got to focus on the next 20 feet. And as you drive forward and you get to that 20 feet, then the light will expand another 20 feet. And then you could see what's further out there. And it's kind of that the concept is obviously the little wins allow you to move forward. Yes, you have that tunnel vision. You're not seeing the entire thing just yet. But as you're having those small wins, you start getting closer and closer, and then the vision and then the light starts getting more closer to the bigger picture of what you're doing, but you can't see it. You can't see it there yet from the beginning. You have to be advancing in order for you to start getting to a point where you actually start seeing the bigger thing that you're trying to actually get to.
Yeah, I think for me, that's what I'm practicing right now, right? Is because the big win, to be honest, is overwhelming me, right? And I was telling you off camera, it's beating me up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Seth? Like, you're not there anymore, or you're not there yet, and so forth. And I think it's easier to digest one small thing, right, over and over again. And I know we talked about it on before another podcast. Is Darren Hardy, right?
Yeah.
The compound effect.
Yeah, the compound effect.
Like, could you walk me through that? Like, how does that what is the compound effect for the audience that doesn't know?
It's basically the same thing, just he explains it different. It's basically the little wins or the little things that you do on a day-to-day basis. You compound them for an X period of time and think about how much progress you made, over the course of the time, right? An example, again, with my team here, my agents that we obviously are training and coaching is I tell them, hey, you need to understand you're coming in. You're going to start obviously meeting customers. You're going to start going out and meeting them, showing them properties, doing what you're doing. But don't expect things to happen immediately. You got to understand you're going to spend time. You're going to spend effort. You're going to fail along the way. You're going to miss some sales. Things are going to happen. But as long as you continue with your day-to-day activities, you stay positive and you continue to have those little wins, meaning those appointments, meeting customers and meeting more customers, eventually everything is going to start dialing in and starting to unfold. Yeah. And sooner or later, a month or two later, you're going to start seeing the progress from what you're building. So Darren Hardy, the compound effect, it's basically something that basically states that as long as you focus and continue to do the little things on a day-to-day basis, eventually they're going to compound to into that final thing. I
think one of the things that scares us is that on social media, especially, we talk about social media a lot. Yeah. You only see big wins. Yeah. Like no one's really like promoting the fact that there's a small win out there.
Well, there's a story behind it, right? Yeah. Before they got there, they had to go through all of this, right? I'm reading the book Visonomics. Okay. It's about the life story about Jeff Bezos and obviously Amazon. Okay. And it's obviously, again, every success story, man, every success story has its process, years and years worth of work and little wins compounded over a course of period of time. And that's when the massive success happens. But it was all generated from the little things that eventually started building up momentum. And eventually you kept on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And then that momentum just kept getting bigger and bigger. And now that thing was multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. And that's what happened in my business. Okay. If I go to real estate, which is our main business, that's our life story too, man. And business is, that was us 15, 16 years ago. It's just little things every single day consistently over a course period of time. Transactions started happening, another transaction. We kept pushing. Yeah. We kept building off of the momentum, didn't slow down, allow obviously just the momentum to continue to push us forward. We kept pushing, staying, excited and motivated with those little wins, with a lot of failures in between the process. But eventually, man, years later, we turned back and we looked at everything we had accomplished and we were like, man, we just did all of this. Yeah. But we were focused 15, 20 feet in front of us and another light would open up and next another vision.
Next 20 feet.
You see what I'm saying? Obviously, we all work differently, right? Yeah. that might not be a concept for somebody else, but that's the concept that, has worked for me. That's my responsibility to share what has worked for me and what has worked for you, so that hopefully it impacts someone that is obviously looking and seeking for that information that may resemble the way they are as well, and that could possibly work for them as well. But that's what has worked for me personally in real estate and in so many other areas of my life. Yes. I apply the same formula, man, to my body, to my relationship with my wife, to my relationship with my kids, my relationship with God, my relationship with my community. And I realized that, it's basically the formula that has worked for me, and now I apply it in all areas of my life.
I like that, because as you were saying that, I have a lot of thoughts going through my head right now to digest. But I was thinking out loud, like, my little brother and I are really close, and you know this, but I was used to say, like, the small wins. A small win could be one good conversation. It's like I was thinking about you and maybe you and your kids, or you and your wife.
Yeah.
Like, having one good conversation with the kid, it doesn't necessarily mean you have the best relationship at that moment, right? Like, but at least it's one win.
Right.
And then build it with another good conversation,
right.
and another good and then another good moment, another beautiful moment. And then guess what? Eventually, like, wow, we have such a...
Think about how the relationship is going to get better.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Now you're at a whole different level on that relationship with your brother.
Yeah, and it was small wins, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I mean, not a win-win, but like we're using it as a metaphor of the sense of one good interaction.
Yeah, and I think the concept here is that we got to be patient with ourselves, understand what we want.
Yeah.
We have a goal, we have something that we want to accomplish, but we also got to be patient to understand that it's going to take time to get there, and it's going to require a process. Plans, right?
Yes.
And everything obviously dialed in on what you're supposed to do to get there, but build off those little wins to continue to keep you motivated towards your target, which is probably 5 years out, 10 years out, or whatever the case might be based on that goal that you're working on, whether it's physically, mentally, business, finances, marriage, being a parent. It's been beautiful, man. I've experienced the learning process through my business, through life, where I have allowed that mentality to roll over into my body, my intake, my relationships, and everything else outside of that. And it's beautiful to understand it, because it allows me to be more patient with myself, to understand that as long as I follow the process, I will get to my destination. Right. And as long as I follow it, I build off the momentum, and I keep pushing through the momentum.
Yes.
And I know eventually we're going to hit that target, because obviously we're using that same formula.
I tell you, I'm learning so much as you're talking. I'm like, the brain's going in 100 miles per hour. And like, one of the things you said was momentum right now. So check this out. Let me know if you follow me on this. You have a very strong morning routine. Yeah. Right. And I'm rebuilding mine right now. And it's like, think about it. Momentum building. And like, not just a whole year. We talk about just the day. Yeah. We wake up, you read a book. You have your coffee. You have a good workout. Yeah. Let's say you have you go through your prayers and have a conversation with your wife. If every one of those things were good, small win. Good workout, small win. Read 29 pages or whatever, small win. Right. Ate a good breakfast, small win. Right. You're probably going to have momentum going into the rest of the day.
Not probably. You will.
You will, right?
You will.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced that every single day when I do my morning routine. And it's, every single one of them. And it's a perfect example. I could have probably digested that simple. But for me, those are the little wins every single day.
That set you up for the rest of the day.
When I leave my house, Seth, every single morning, I feel so accomplished and so powerful, because I went through my morning little wins that allow me to believe in myself, build my self-esteem, build my character, build my mindset, when I leave my home in the morning,
you're empowered already.
Man,
you're a champion.
I'm ready to attack my day, and I'm ready to just accomplish so many things, because I'm ready to go. I've already had little wins that built my self-esteem. It built me into a moment where nothing is impossible
Yeah.
to accomplish in my life.
I really like the way we're phrasing that, because like we call it a morning routine all the time, but it's almost like you're setting, it's like your morning wins.
Yes.
Right?
Well, if you win the morning,
you're gonna
you
win the rest of the
day.
day. Yes, yes.
You
exactly.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about it, man. And if I and again, if I am so consistent, because a lot of people tells me, man, it's amazing your consistency, your consistency on your morning routines. And it's because I need it.
Yes.
It's something that I want and I'm looking forward to it because it dictates the rest of my day. It dictates my whole entire lifestyle. I depend on that so that I can become the very best version of myself when I go outside of my home and I'm ready to face life, business, situations, problems, and deal with life so that I can deal with it at the best possible way. And I'm ready to handle any problem that is thrown my way.
I like that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways for me right now, and I'm sure for some of the audience, is set yourself up for those. When I say small wins, I mean like micro wins. Like these are like literally this, like people that don't think about, like, having a good breakfast. Yeah. That's a win, right? Yeah,
of course. And because you know that you put the right thing into your body.
Yeah. And what it does is it creates momentum. Yes. That's what it's all about. And once you have momentum, you're unstoppable. Power versus force. Yes. You have power. Yes. You're not forcing it anymore because you have momentum. Wow. I'm like just completely mind blown. And I want to end this segment here. But before I let you go, I have a couple of Q&As if you'd like to stick around for those.
Sure. Of course.
Awesome. So, hey, the first question is going to be from one of our listeners, a good friend of yours and mine as well.
Yeah.
His name is Angel Virgin. And
great human being, by the way.
Amazing.
Angel, if you're watching, just want to say hello and thanks for all your support, bud.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, we love you too, man. So that's how it works. Question was, do you have a coach? And then do you have a mentor besides Sandra?
I actually don't. I believe my coaches and my mentors are my books and my audio and podcasts that I listen to. I do not currently have any mentor or any coach, but I always believe my coaches and my mentors are the books that I read.
Yeah.
I'm very tight into my reading and that's what really coaches me and mentors me to continue to grow and build myself up, based on everything that I learn from the books that I read, right, and my connection with God, basically.
Got it. Cool. Awesome. Well, I mean, there's just so much information in those books. So
Absolutely.
It's almost like having a mentor every time.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, listen, we have a couple more questions. This is from a tag Ogillian. I hope I got that right. And it's, what are your steps to developing an abundance mindset?
My steps to developing abundance mindset. That's a great question. That is going to take some thought.
Digesting.
To digest.
I tell you, it ties in really well with our podcast today. Right? Like we talked about small wins and creating momentum. That's what I'm imagining that will essentially creates abundance eventually.
Well, it sure does. I think a grateful spirit, being grateful, being a grateful human being, it creates the abundance opportunity for creating, other things into your life. Yeah. So just being grateful, having faith and having those small wins on a day-to-day basis to build credibility, to build self-esteem, to build confidence on yourself. And therefore you start creating abundance in the areas of life that you're looking to create abundance.
Well, I know you say this all the time and I love what you say because I literally put on t-shirts and everything. It's grounded through gratitude.
Yes.
Yes. And I think once you said this to me, is once you have gratitude, you're happy because you're thankful for everything that you're given.
Well, even for the smallest thing, man. I connect with nature a lot. I connect through God, through nature. I could see a tree that is beautiful and I just appreciate it, huh? And I thank God for it because it just brings me so much peace of mind and it brings me so much peace internally. So I try to stay as grounded as possible with the simple things that bring me gratitude and allows me to stay connected, that no matter what financial success we had or what kind of object we own, that doesn't obviously at the end of the day fulfill you. What fulfills you is it's being a grateful human being for what you have. Yes. Whether it's something small or whether it's something big, it's being grateful and appreciating because you'll be as happy as you could be if you're grateful, not having much or having a whole lot, but not being grateful at all. And do you see what I'm saying?
Because as you're saying that, I can tell you, and I don't mean to take away from the question, but I feel like when I reached certain goals when I was younger, in my early 20s especially, I wasn't really happy because I wasn't grateful really.
Yeah.
Right. You're never grateful or empowered when you just want the next thing again. Right. You got something? Cool. Next thing.
Yeah.
You get something else? What's the next thing now?
Right.
And yeah, it kept me motivated and ambitious, but I wasn't happy. Right. Because I wasn't feeling in that moment, I guess is what you would say.
And I think it ties into, you know what? It's because you're not personally developing yourself. You're accomplishing something material, but you're not really personally developing and growing as a human being.
Yes.
And I think what keeps a human being grounded and motivated in life is when you know you're growing personally as a human being.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that's when you really start connecting yourself even more into what you're doing, because you know you're having progress, and that progress with your own self allows you to stay focused and connected to the process.
Wow. I like that. That makes sense. Well, we have one more question. It's just actually one of our followers who I know he watches every podcast. It's from Michael Milan. It was a longer one, but just to kind of summarize is, it sounds like he's running into a situation with one of his clients who's unhappy with him at the moment. And he's asking for advice on what he can possibly do, maybe from the mindset standpoint, maybe directions to him on what he can do to reach out and maybe fix or alleviate that relationship.
I'm very simple on the way I attack situations and problems. In this case, I would just call the customer, apologize, and say, listen, whatever I did wrong, I want to apologize. I know I am not perfect. I dropped the ball. Something happened. I didn't do what was right.
Yes.
But I'm admitting it. And I want to let you know that your business matters a whole lot to me.
Wow.
And I want to do things better for you. I would like to continue to work with you, and I would like to improve my service, and I'd like to prove you that I could do a better job on your behalf. Just give me an opportunity, but apologize. Be straightforward. Apologize. Ask for business back. Ask for an opportunity. And if the opportunity is granted, be grateful.
Yes.
Take care of business.
Yes.
And do what's right.
Yes.
And if you don't get the opportunity, move on and learn from the experience so that you don't do the same thing to the next customer, and then you're in the same situation.
I like that. Own it, essentially, right?
Of course. Accept it. Even if the customer sometimes is not right and you're still right and he's wrong, a lot of times you just got to fold and say, hey, I'm sorry. If you feel things were wrong, I'm here to fix them. How can we fix them?
Absolutely.
But ask and not be afraid of asking, because a lot of times that's what I see. We're afraid to figure out what it was, but we're not able to get the true answer because we're not being direct and simple to just ask what happened. How can we fix it?
I'll tell you, that used to be one of my biggest weaknesses in business, right? And it's not because I'm a bad communicator. It's because I was scared. I was scared of picking up the phone and hearing them and dealing with the conflict. But I'll tell you, every time I've done it, it's worked.
Well, think about how you feel when you actually did it.
Yes.
You removed that fear.
Yes. It's like I could breathe again. Shoulders, burden, everything was gone.
It's because a lot of times we assume things, man. That we're so wrong. We are very easy to assume how the person feels, what they're going to think, what they're going to say. You cannot assume. You just have to go out and ask and approach the situation, attack the problem.
Yes.
And I think you're going to have more success versus not doing anything about it and having the fear of thinking what it's going to happen or how they're feeling.
Yes.
When a lot of times they might not be feeling what you think they're feeling.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. I think one of the things I close off with is, it's always when I apologize, it was not my intention, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Because intention is huge.
Yeah.
So it was not my intention. I apologize. How can we make this better though?
Right.
Tell me what I need to do to make this right. And it works, like you were saying. So, and I feel better every time.
Right.
So awesome. Well, hey, Michael, cool. I hope that answered your question, man, because I know we love you. Anything you'd like to leave off with? No, I'm excited, to do this podcast today, and I'm hoping that the message today really helps somebody out, and we're here to answer any additional questions that may arise after the podcast. And I'm just excited, looking forward to the next one. Absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great one.